Hola, soy la profesora Clark, and today we are going to talk about the verb hacer. Hacer begins with an H, and so you are not going to pronounce that first letter. So it's pronounced actually a ser. Okay. Hacer can be used to express activities. It can be used to express occupation. But most importantly, you use hacer to present an open-ended question. Hacer all by itself means to do or to make. It has an irregular first-person conjugation, hago, and then it goes to haces, where it follows the regular er. Él hace, ella hace, usted hace, hacemos, hacéis, ellos hacen, ellas hacen, y ustedes hacen. This is another verb where you're just going to have to memorize that it has an irregular first person, and that is pronounced hago. And again, the H is silent in each one of these manifestations. Again, hago, haces, él hace, ella hace, usted hace, hacemos, hacéis, ellos hacen, ellas hacen, and ustedes hacen. So I can use hacer to express activities. Sometimes activities have hacer attached to them, like to do homework. ¿Qué haces todos los días? Which is, in essence, an open-ended question. And sometimes an activity has hacer attached to it. So in this case, hago la tarea todos los días. Sometimes you'll have ¿qué hacéis? Los sábados hacemos el desayuno. We make breakfast. Bien. I can also use hacer in a question to express or to ask about an occupation. And we've seen this before. ¿Qué haces? What do you do? This is still very much an open-ended question, and you answer with soy profesora. In this case, the verb in the question is not the same as the verb in the answer. The answer uses the expression for job occupation, which employs ser. Now, we've seen plus infinitive expressions before, and when we combine a plus infinitive expression with the verb hacer as the infinitive, it forms an open-ended question. So when you answer, you need to keep in mind the grammar that you hear in or see in the question, and not necessarily the verb hacer, because the hacer is not really going to help you. It's just going to tell you, hey, hacer means you need to put any verb in there that will make sense to answer the question. For example, ¿qué tienes que hacer? What in general do you have to do? If you have to study, you're going to simply answer tengo que estudiar. The grammar, tienes que hacer, tener que plus infinitive, is going to correspond to your answer. Tener que plus infinitive. If I'm asking you ¿qué tienes que hacer? And you say I have to make breakfast, then in that case, you're going to answer ¿qué tienes que hacer? Tengo que hacer el desayuno. But if the activity that you have to do does not include the verb hacer as part of the idiomatic expression, then you do not include that in your answer. ¿Qué vas a hacer? Again, this forms an open-ended question, and that can be answered with any infinitive that's appropriate for what you are planning on doing. In this case, voy a estudiar. If you are going to watch a movie, you're going to say voy a mirar una película. Again, we're looking for the same grammar. We're not necessarily looking to match the verb hacer with another verb in hacer. Just remember, the open-ended question is what we use hacer primarily for. And unless your expression has hacer in it, like hacer la tarea, or hacer la cama, which is to make the bed, or hacer el desayuno, which is to make breakfast, unless your expression has that in there, you will not always be using hacer in your answer. So keep that in mind and don't be surprised if que tienes que hacer and que vas a hacer turns up on a speaking exam. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Gracias y chao.